Now come here. This is a story about the rabbit, right? Now years ago, Dickie's father, now his name was Mick Fortune, like me, right? And his name was Big Mick Fortune or Old Mick Fortune, right? And you know Old Mick Fortune, Dickie's father, him and another man, I think it was Johnny Toole, I'm not sure. They went hunting rabbits years ago, right? And they went in, saw a rabbit in the field, and they decided to go in to chase the rabbit. And the rabbit ran in, and the boys followed it. And they went into one field, and they followed it, went into the next field, and they went into the third field. And the boys followed the rabbit, and they followed the little rabbit, little white tail, little scutty tail on him. And as because we were going in, it was beginning to get dark. And the rabbit brought him out into the middle of the field. And next minute, the rabbit just disappeared, gone. They could not find the rabbit. And by that stage, it started to get dark, and it got darker and darker and darker. And they said, "Just we better go home. This rabbit, we can't find this rabbit." So you know what they did? No, they went round. They went over to the ditch, and they tried to get out where they came in, and they could not find the gap. And they went around and around and around, and no way could they get out. So there's no other option but you're right, Nellie, that they stay there all night. Two of them slept up in a tree, and the next day, the daylight came, and saw the gap, and they got out. But they could not.
Because it was so late, and we couldn't even see it.
Now they said that rabbit, that field, the rabbit was a fairy rabbit, little fairy rabbit, and little fairy in the form of a rabbit.
But a little fairy rabbit that talked to you and saw you.
Exactly. And years later, I was down around the same part of the thing again, and I was.
He said to look and hunt a rabbit and we'd kill him.
Dickie said, "Go get him, bigger rabbit big." So he gave me the gun anyway. And I went out.
Kill him?
Yeah, we had to kill him. Yeah, they wanted me to kill the rabbit to bring him home to eat him, right? So I went anyway out to Donaghue's field, and I went into and I saw a little rabbit, and I went after the rabbit, and he brought me into another.
Field?
Yeah, one field, and I chased after him again, and his little scutty tail, his little white feet, his little white tail on him. Then he went on to the third field, and into the third field, I was in this third field, and the rabbit ran into the grass, into the middle of it again, and I followed him in, and next minute, he disappeared, and I said, "Where the fuck is he gone?" And by this stage too, it was beginning to get dark now, because I was going around chasing rabbit for a while, and it started to get dark, and I said, "Right, I want to get out of here." So I went over to try to find my way out, and I could not find my way out. How to get out of it? And I went around and around and around.
Because it was so dark.
Yeah, but I couldn't see the big gate I came in. And I sat down in the middle. It was only a little lad, and I sat down in the middle of the field. And then I started to cry. And I started crying. Next I heard this noise saying, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Nothing." "What's wrong with you?" And I looked, I couldn't see anything. And I looked, and here was a little rabbit. And I said, "Go away," I said. "Yeah, me?" And I thought I was dreaming. I said, "Are you talking?" And he said, "Yeah. You were trying to kill me a few minutes ago, weren't you? Now you're stuck here." He says to me. And I says, "I'm sorry, I was told to go out." And I said, "Well, you stay here for the night now, won't you? You won't get home." And he started laughing. And I said, "Oh, well, fuck you," so I said. And I started to cry more. And I says, "Tell you what, come here to me." I said, I'll do you a favour, right? You do me a favour." He says, "I'll bring you out of this field tonight, right? Get you home to your bed. If you do me one favour." I says, "Yeah." So will you tell your father and all the neighbours not to go hunting rabbits in these fields anymore? Leave the rabbits alone." I said, "I'll do that." I said, "Grand. Will you do me another favour?" He says. "Oh yeah, what is it?" So every now and again will you throw us a bit of food, because sometimes we get hungry here during the winter. It gets cold and dark and there's no food. "Yeah, no bother." So "Come on then, follow me." So he ran ahead of me with his little scutty tail sticking up in the air, and I followed him carrying the gun, and my head was down and it was dark, and I could see his little white tail kind of barely kind of lighting with the light of the moon. And after one field and two fields and three fields, and he laid me out onto the road, and I got out onto the road, and I says to him, "Thanks a million for that, I appreciate that." I said. I says, "No bother at all." He says, "Now you won't forget now, will you?" I said, "No, I won't. I'll tell him never to go shooting down here again." "Grand," he says. And I said, "I'll get a bit of food for you as well anytime I'm passing." So "Yeah, that'd be lovely." So I went home and I told Mammy and Nanny. Mammy said, "Yeah, that's what happened to your grandfather here, and he got locked. Same thing happened to him." And do you know what she said? What? Said, "Do you know what you do?" Said, "Anytime you go down by that field again, bring a little bit of food for the rabbit." So anytime I used to go walking on that part of the road, I'd always bring a slice of bread with me, and maybe bring a few apples or a few bits and pieces, even sweets I'd have, and I'd throw them into the field. And no sooner did I throw them into the field, you'd hear all that, and you'd see all little lines, all the things running in the grass. And then never again did I ever go hunting in that field ever again. Wasn't that a nice story?
Yeah, just
That's a true story.
said, Rabbit, where are you?
Yeah,
I'm talking to him.
yeah. And every time and again I'd go down and I'd say, Rabbit, stand at the gate, and I'd look in. Lads, he's all right. Where are you? You there? And what I'd see is he'd see his little ears sticking up in the grass. And now and again he'd know it was me, and he'd come up, and I'd say, how are you getting on? Not too bad, he'd say, things like that. But yeah, but that I must show you that field someday.
My arm is stinging.
What happened to your arm, eh?
I don't know, bugs bite again with him.
Bugs biting you.